Out on my lunch walk, and we all have those moments where we just want to get out the way and just go for a walk and kind of relax. And I started thinking about something recently because my children are now 19 and 23. Jesus, I'm getting old. And elections are coming up. Now, most of y'all are like, well, the main election is going to be November 2nd and we're going to make our decisions. Kinda no. By the time it's November 2nd and you're making your decisions, we've already fucked ourselves over. YouTube might take that down for that language, so this is really for adults anyway. We missed out on a great opportunity. Let's take Seattle, for instance. You know, they got the mayor race and they had the primaries and all that. And we have two city council members who are going up against each other to become the mayor of Seattle. Now, I know everyone's saying, what does this have to do with anything, the primary? Because the main election is gonna be November 2nd. No, that's the trick. Politicians have figured out that if we can keep people out of primaries, if we can keep people seeing that there's still the same no decisions, we're still in control. I'll give you a great example. Say AOC out of New York. I forget which borough she's out of or whatever it is. She never really had to take on the incumbent because she won in the primaries. She took the position away in the primaries so the incumbent didn't have a chance to run. And then she ran on the DNC and voila, we have AOC. Now, most people don't think about it that way. They're like, what do you mean primaries are important? For example, if you've got, say, let's look back at Trump and we look at whoever else was on the GOP side. If someone had beat out Trump in the primaries, we never would have had Trump as a president. Same goes right now, Biden. There were other candidates that had like way bigger numbers at some point. And for some reason, people started voting in more for Biden on the primaries, or the news media was on him. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to that either. You know, at that time there, I was thinking about making money. And I thought about it after this last year of just cluster craziness with COVID and all the rest of it. It let me know that we've done a piss poor job in voting and in controlling who could become elected. And I started analyzing it like you would analytically, you know. Where does the main decision come from? How does it happen? When does it happen? Because somewhere in there were 12 candidates, but we're down to 2. For either a state representative, Senate, mayor, governors. We're down to just a few when there was a many. So if we really, really wanted to change how elections happen, we need to change where we focus our emphasis on before the main election. There we can put people in place that might be better or more reactive to what we need done. Because I realize there have been people who've been in politics for 20 and 30 years, and they may not be the best people to help us. They may have been when they were elected 15 years ago. A lot of things have changed. Technology has changed. YouTube has changed things. Amazon's changed things. Digital has changed a lot of stuff. Our cities have changed. And maybe we need to spend more time on the primaries than we do the main election, because by the time you get to the main election, if you have 2 bad candidates, it really doesn't matter which one you vote in. Now, if we get into our primaries and got some really good people, excuse the noise, but shit, I'm outside and it's loud. But I'm just thinking to myself, we could have some really incredible people, you know, that are young, vibrant, that represent the 35-year-olds to 50-year-olds, even the 25-year-olds to 45-year-olds, and see worlds as we do, and contemporary as we do, and help put together stuff that will be much more reactive and less old school day, somebody. I would love to see a doctor. Oh my goodness, I'd love to see one of these doctors who are 45 years old that did it really good. They're sitting on, a couple $1 million, decide to run because they can talk about the science. They've been a business owner. They've been a community leader. I mean, I'd love to see that happen. I'd love to see somebody who is an engineer, who owns a firm, who's built up things and employed people, who's seen what it takes to run this country right. I'd love to see somebody who worked the contracts from the other side with the government and made it move forward, had to work with the EPA and move forward, who's had to work with the city and move forward, who's had to employ people, move forward, who's had to make sure there was health care for people, move forward. In other words, I think as a whole, we could do more for our community if we spend more time in the primaries and understand who's going to be the top two we're going to elect. And the scariest part about the whole thing, take a hand, 5 fingers. During the primary season, if the 5 fingers represent the whole community, only 2 fingers are making the decisions who's going to be the top candidates. It should be at least 4 fingers making that decision. And the same should be for the number of people who vote in. But if you've got 2 good choices at the top, even if a lot of people didn't vote, wouldn't matter, because you had 2 really good choices or 3 really good choices. So all I'm really asking for, all I'm really saying here is, I don't care which side of the spectrum you're on. I really want everyone. If you love the DNC party or whatever the fuck it's called, get out there and vote during the primaries and get the best person up there to represent. If you love the independent, do the same thing. If you love the Republican, do the same thing. And then we always will have great decision makers to work with. So that's my thoughts. Have a good day. Peace, because it is raining all of a sudden, and you know, they gotta love Seattle.